Yeah, she's literally like poking out of my stomach. She's like, get me out of here. Hello and welcome to my favorite place in this home, the kitchen. This is literally where I spend, let's just say, a lot of time, to make it simple. And I'm super excited to be sharing this video with you guys because this is probably one of the first things that came up into my mind when I was like, okay, I'm ready, I'm doing it, I'm diving back into the tube. So these are gonna be just 2 meals that we're gonna do today. I might throw a third one in there. We will see how I feel by the end of the second dish, just because I've already been on my feet for, let's just say, a long time. I decided to make a green juice this morning, and that's probably gonna last us for the next like 6 to 7 days. I will be freezing, I think, at least 2 mason jars. There's so much goodness in there, so many vitamins and minerals and nutrients and just all kinds of amazing things for a baby. So we're gonna just dive right into these 2 beautiful, one's a soup, one's a lentil stew, and I'm gonna have these 2 meals in my freezer ready for either delivery day or postpartum. So I just want to make sure that this last month, because I literally have like a month and 5 days until baby arrives, I want to prepare for the weeks to come after she's here, because I'm a first-time mom, but I've done my research, I've talked to a lot of women, and I've gotten a lot of advice on this, and the first thing they always say is just make sure that you have some meals in the fridge. Make sure that you have everything that you're gonna need to take care of yourself postpartum, which I can share with you guys in another video. And because once you have the baby and she's here, you're not really gonna have a lot of time to do much. And in my opinion, I mean, I always like, because I just have such a passion for nutrition and like good food and nourishing your body, because I really do think that's like the pinnacle for so much and like where so much begins. That's kind of where like my mind goes first. It's like, if I can't nourish myself, how am I gonna be able to nourish my baby? Like, she's no longer in my belly, but now everything that she is receiving is coming through still my body. So I need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself so that I can keep up my supply and keep her nourished and keep her healthy. My mom breastfed me for like 3.5 years. So I don't know that I'm gonna be breastfeeding her until she's like 3.5, but I definitely want to try to breastfeed until she's like at least a year and a half old, because that's what I've read is recommended. So I want to make sure that she gets as much nourishment and as much love as I did as a child, because it's paid off. I've never really had to go to a doctor, like barely get sick, have a really good immune system. I went to India, I went to Bali, never got any type of stomach flus or even food poisoning. Like, I'm really grateful for my health and my body, and I want to be able to give that to my child, because I really think that our health is it's a treasure, and in order to have that treasure, we need to treat it that way. We need to nourish ourselves and take care of ourselves. So this is why I want to share this video with you all, because even if you're not expecting, these are meals that you can implement into your weekly routine. You can have in the freezer, just ready to take out whenever you need to, and that way you don't have to resort to eating out, which is, it's okay. I mean, we all do it, I do it, but it's definitely not ideal. And I feel like if you have options in your home, you're most likely not going to resort to what's easy and take those shortcuts. So I'm gonna be doing this, so either when we're at the hospital and we don't want to eat whatever the hospital is serving, because I don't really know what kind of food they have, and from what I've learned, hospital food isn't really the greatest. I definitely just want to have options, and I think after, oh my gosh, she's literally like poking out of my stomach. She's like, get me out of here. I just want to have options, and I know that after I have her, I want to be able to have something that's extremely nourishing, and to me that's lentils, because I grew up eating lentils. So that's why we're going to be making this beautiful red lentil stew that's so simple. You really need minimal ingredients, and if you want to make it even more nourishing, or you want to add more ingredients to it, you're always more than welcome to as well. So these are kind of like base recipes that you can just take and recreate and add and take away, and just do whatever you want, because that's what cooking is all about. It's getting creative, listening to your body, connecting with the food, and adding what you feel like you need to those dishes, so you can then nourish your body and nourish your life and continue thriving. Let's get started. For this recipe, you're going to need some cashews, onion. You can use yellow or red. I normally prefer red because it's just a lot easier on my digestion. We also have some garlic, some carrot, turmeric powder, and this pre-roasted cauliflower. So we'll start by washing and peeling our carrots and then cutting them up into little cubes. I did go ahead and cut up about 5 to 6 medium carrots, just because I knew that I was going to be needing some for the lentil dish as well. So if you are going to be making both of these dishes at once, I would highly recommend just cutting them all up at once, because it'll save you a lot of time. Do keep in mind that if you do not feel like chopping up a whole bunch of carrots and onion, you can buy it pre-cut at the store. I know that Trader Joe's sells a great mirepoix, which is a carrot, celery, and onion, and it's usually really fresh, but because I have everything that I need in my fridge, I'm gonna go ahead and just chop it all up. Now we're going to go ahead and chop up our onions, mince our garlic, and once you're getting close to being done, you can go ahead and let about 1 to 2 tablespoons of oil warm up in a pot at medium-low heat. Because I'm going to be using this for the lentils, I went ahead and used the same pot to saute my garlic, my onions, and my carrot, but you can definitely use a smaller skillet if you're just going to be making the soup. But I'm just trying to be a little bit more efficient with my time and energy in the kitchen. Don't want it to get too hot. You just want to kind of sweat everything to get those flavors coming through, and then we're going to go ahead and blend everything together. Once you start to hear your oil slightly sizzling, you can go ahead and add your carrots, your onion, and your garlic, and a couple pinches of salt just to help the water release. And I would highly recommend keeping it covered with a lid, just to keep everything nice and moist and prevent it from drying up, and also just stirring it frequently. We're going to cook this until our onions and the carrots are nice and tender. That's how we know that they are ready to be blended up with everything else. It's been about 5 minutes or so, 5 to 8 minutes, since everything has been cooking through and the carrots are starting to get there. So I'm going to go ahead and add the spices that we want to use in this soup. It's going to be mainly turmeric. If you're not familiar with turmeric, if you don't use it often, I would definitely recommend scaling back on the amount that you use. I'm going to be using 1.5 tablespoons. This is a 2-serving dish that we're making here because I want to have a lot of it. The recipe will be in the description area. That way you don't have to try to remember it, and it's just right there for you, easy and ready to go. We got some turmeric. Ooh, okay. That's going to make a mess. And as you guys know, turmeric is a complete superfood. Using black pepper with it is ideal, because that's what activates the curcumin in turmeric, which is what makes turmeric a superfood, what makes it an antioxidant, what makes it anti-inflammatory, what makes your skin look beautiful and glowing when you use it. But this will be ideal for postpartum, because I'm sure there will be a lot of inflammation within the first week or so. So adding turmeric to this is ideal, because it's definitely going to support your recovery postpartum and make it a lot easier on your body. I'm going to go ahead and add the cauliflower to this mixture, just because I want the cauliflower to cook with the flavors just for a little bit before we blend everything together. Our next step is going to be blending everything together. If you do not have a high-speed blender, I would highly recommend soaking your cashews for at least an hour in hot water just so they soften up a little bit and they blend fully when you are ready for this step. And you're also going to spoon in the rest of your cauliflower mixture. Couple squeezes of lime juice and blend it all up. So I've added 2 cups of vegetable broth and about 5 to 6 cups of water. This will all depend on how thick you want your soup. I'll show you the consistency. It's extremely thick, but it is so delicious. You can just get the taste of very slight, subtle taste of turmeric with a lot of cashew flavor and cauliflower. If you have never gotten to experience the smell of fresh ground cumin, I highly recommend getting some cumin seeds and either using a spice grinder or do it like they used to do it back in the day with a mortar and pestle and grinding them up, because it is literally the most special thing in the world. I mean, any spice, but because I'm like crazy about cumin and literally put cumin in everything, but it's great for you anyways. I just really appreciate this. But I'm currently working on gathering all of my ingredients for the lentil dish. I'm definitely starting to power down, so let's power through it. Let's get it done. This is a really easy dish in my opinion. To begin, go ahead and cut up the rest of your veggies. So if you don't have any carrots or onion, you can start there. And since I already have that, I'm just going to dive into the zucchini and the celery. And as I was chopping, I decided that I would add a red bell pepper to it because legumes, we're using lentils, are really high in iron, but there are 2 different kinds of iron, and I think this is so cool. The iron found in meat and just animal protein is a lot more easy to absorb, whereas the iron found in plant foods is a little bit harder to absorb. So when you eat foods high in vitamin C, with your plant-based foods that are high in iron, it actually makes it more readily available for your body and more absorbable. So I decided that I'm going to add some red bell pepper, so when I am busy with the baby, I don't have to think about making a salad on the side with either, you know, spinach or tomatoes or bell pepper in it, and I can just have it all in one dish. So on that same pot that you use to make the cauliflower mixture, if you decide to make the soup, you can also make the lentils. I'm just going to turn it on to a medium-low heat to start by sweating the onions, and then we'll throw all the veggies in together to help them release their flavors once again and just create a beautiful base layer for these lentils. This is looking ready for some veggies, so add some peppers, celery, zucchini, and carrots. So you'll want to let that cook until the carrots, the zucchini, and the peppers are a little bit tender. They don't have to be fully cooked through because they are going to be simmering with the lentils, but we don't want them to be too hard either, to the point where there is a possibility that they might still have a bite to them when the lentils are ready. Just cover that. Let it cook, and now that everything is looking nice and tender, we can go ahead and add all of our spices. So we're going to do some coriander, turmeric, cumin, a little bit of fenugreek to support lactation. So as I've said before, I am definitely looking to use all of the powers that food has to optimize my milk supply. Of course, you can always adjust spices to taste and to your liking, This is just how I personally like to spice my lentils. Add 2 cups of lentils. After adding the lentils, allow them to toast a little bit to enhance the flavor. And then after that, you can add 6 cups of broth. If you don't have that much broth, you can also use water, that's fine. Broth, whether it's chicken or vegetable, is always going to add a lot more flavor, but work with what you have. Bring this to a boil. Now that we're boiling, we can go ahead and cover it and bring it to a simmer. So the lentils have been cooking for about 20-25 minutes and they're looking pretty ready. And this is usually when you want to go ahead and add your salt, because a little secret, adding salt to your lentils before they're cooked actually slows down the cooking process. They're looking beautiful, like a little lentil puree type of dish. Yeah. I am gonna go ahead and add a handful of kale just to increase the amount of goodness and nutrition in here. You don't have to mix it in. You're gonna let it steam by just putting the lid back on, but you can just put that on the top. Put the lid back on, let it steam for about until it's wilted, and you're good to go. And once it's fully steamed, go ahead and just stir that in. And one little thing that I like to do with all of my lentil dishes after they're done cooking and even before I eat them is add a squeeze of lime. This is all I have left and I'm gonna make it work. Because it brightens up the flavors, and limes are also really high in antioxidants, so you definitely can't go wrong with that. Although I loved how the cauliflower soup turned out, I must say the lentils are definitely it. Like, I cannot wait to have that dish after my beautiful little girl is in my arms looking at me, I'm looking at her. It's something that I feel like it's hard to imagine because I've never experienced anything like it before, and I just can't wait to feel and experience and just live through every minute of that. I hope that you guys try these 2 recipes, or if you do want to try at least one, definitely try the lentil soup. Don't be intimidated by the spices if you're not used to eating spices. I promise that it's really balanced. They're not super overpowering, and if you don't have any of them, you can also go without them, but I would definitely recommend at least having the cumin on hand, because that just gives everything a really beautiful flavor, and it's beautiful. Just trust me. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm open to all of your suggestions and recommendations, so please leave that below. Let me know what your postpartum experience was like, if you feel like sharing, and if you're just here trying to get some new recipes, that's okay too. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for being here. I really hope that those 2 recipes were helpful and all the little tips that I shared here and there. If you're new to this channel, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe. Welcome. I'll be sharing a lot more of these type of videos. I definitely enjoy cooking the most, so I'll probably be sharing a lot of cooking videos as my cooking skills progress. Just lifestyle and my experience and journey with the baby when she's here as a new mother. So again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a magical day. Sending you all lots of love.